Hello, welcome to the Get Fit With Me, expanding your physical and mental fitness group. This group is for individuals who are ready to expand both their physical and mental fitness while helping and supporting others with similar goals all along the way. In this group, we talk about three main areas. We talk about our physical fitness, our mental fitness, and our nutrition. In addition, so every month you're going to get a physical fitness call, a mental fitness call, and a nutrition call. These are kind of coaching calls. So if you click that link above me on Facebook and you jump right into the group, it's opportunity for one-on-one coaching or group coaching and anything that we were talking about, or even if we're not necessarily talking about it and you have a question about it, still jump on, ask the question. I'm here to help you in whatever way that I can. So we have those 3 coaching calls a month. In addition, we do a movement workshop. So we are going to be moving for at least 30 minutes once a month. So that's one guaranteed movement time that you get in. So mark your calendars every Thursday at noon. Either be looking for the live or the in case you missed it email that comes out on Saturday mornings, or click that little link above and jump right into the Zoom room with us. So today we are going to be talking about that mental fitness area. And mental fitness is kind of broad, and we could talk about a lot of different things, such as sustainability, accountability, routines, habits, organization, both physically and mentally, and all the things that go to making physical fitness and nutrition sustainable in our life. If we cannot mentally wrap our head around it and practice good habits and practice good routines in really small micro ways, implement physical fitness and nutrition, then we're not going to be successful. So this mental fitness portion is very, very important. And it's something that is usually lost when we work with a personal trainer or we work with a nutritionist. We're just focused on that one area. Whereas in this group, we talk about all 3 because of the importance of all 3 of them working together. So for today, I want you to let me know if you're watching the replay later on, drop a replay in the comments. And if you're watching it live, drop in the comments who you are, where you're from, and what brought you on today's call today. Was it because it's already on your calendar every single week? Was it because of the topic? Was it because you wanted some coaching? What is having you take time out of your day to sit here and listen and to interact with what we are going to be talking about? So with that being the case, we're going to kind of move into today's call. And when people jump on or respond in the comments, I'm going to be watching it to make sure that I can address what you guys are talking about right away. And if there's something that I miss, I will make sure to go back after the call and respond to everything. This chat lives on, so if you're watching this replay, whether it's Saturday or months down the road, keep asking questions, keep commenting in that chat. The chat lives on, the video lives on. It lives in the guide section of this group, which when you're in there, you'll see that across the top. So today, mental fitness is what we're talking about. We're actually going to be talking about micro habits, which is what falls into that mental fitness area that I was just talking about. So when it comes to micro habits, we want to think micro is really, really small. Often when we take on a goal or we try to create a habit, we all get a little overzealous and we're like, I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to go 0 to 100. I'm going to implement water. I'm going to implement nutrition. I'm going to implement exercise. And we may think that implementing water yes, my ridiculous water bottle, by implementing water may be small when we speak it out loud, but if we really break it down into something very, very, very small, such as I'm going to drink 10 ounces of water today, we're more likely to achieve it, and that habit is more likely to be consistently done each and every day. So it used to be that creating a habit took anywhere from about 21 to 30 days. That is no longer the case. Creating a habit now takes anywhere from 60 to 90 days because of how fast things in the world are coming at us, based on how all over the place we are just with everything in our life and how our lives have changed pre and post pandemic. So with that being the case, it takes more like 60 to 90 days to create that habit. And for a habit to be created, it has to be done every single day consistently. And if we miss a day, we're kind of starting back at that 0 mark. So today we're going to be really diving into creating that habit today, when you leave, you will have one habit that you will be starting tomorrow morning or today, depending on when you are watching this. And you're going to start implementing it day after day, day after day. And I'm going to be checking in on you. So the reason I've looked at micro habits, one is because of my clients. I realized that when we would create a goal of drinking water, if we didn't break it down into the smallest possible achievable win that day that could happen, that it didn't happen and we felt like a failure, I didn't do it, it didn't go as how I planned, life got in the way, we let all those excuses ruin where we've been and where we want to go. So we break it into really small. In addition, I found myself, I was falling into, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to improve this. And I was taking on too much and really none of it was happening. So that's kind of how I stumbled upon mini habits or micro habits, whatever you want to use. But it's a habit that we've really bit down into really, really, really small bite-sized pieces. And each day we get to grow, or each week we get to grow a little bit more. So I'm going to share a story. I've asked Elena's permission to share this. So Elena is one of my clients, and we have actually started implementing micro habits. We've implemented a water micro habit and a step micro habit. And before we implemented the step micro habit, we implemented the water micro habit. And what that is essentially we looked at her water. I had her track at first. How much water was she drinking? We found what her minimum was. And from there, we created a goal of every single day, you're going to hit at least 60 ounces. That is your goal. Once we consistently got the 60 ounces and she was being able to drink the water and not have to feel like, oh crap, I forgot about it. Like it was just there. She didn't have to overly think about it. It was just there. We added in her step goal. So in addition to adding in that step goal, we added in another piece. And that is every single morning, I either text her or she texts me by 9 a.m. and we check in. How was steps and water the day before? We give ourselves a grade or we rate ourselves on a scale of 1 to 10. How was it? Well, it was a 5. Why is that? Okay. Well, if you were a 5, what are you going to do today to make sure that we get that number higher to that 10? So this is something we've implemented with Elena because the accountability that comes with that person checking in with you every single morning. How'd you do with steps? How'd you do with water? We're on about week 3, I believe, and her and I are finally in the routine and in the habit of making sure we text each other by 9 a.m. Because even that portion right there is another habit that we've had to practice, both herself and mine. So with that being the case, Elena is going to continue that. And as she progresses, we get to add that another habit on so that eventually all these habits that she wanted to create are slowly going to build on one another. And she's not even going to have to think about it. It's going to feel natural. It's going to be like, oh, it's second nature to fill my water bottle up and to drink water throughout the day. Like it's not being forced. It's not something I have to overly think about. And that's what we want the habit to eventually be. We want it to be something that's second nature, that is just happening. I'm going to share one more little story here, and that is I got back, I think I was in town or at home about 12 days out of the month of September. We did some traveling, we had the holiday in there, we were gone on the weekends, and I noticed my water was slacking. So at first I thought, okay, well, I got to fill my water bottles, do the thing. I was noticing that with me playing catch up at work, I was keeping that water bottle on my desk. I was drinking that first one, and then I'd go to drink the water. It wouldn't be there because I finished the water bottle, but I was in the middle of a call, so I couldn't run up and fill it, which then meant another meeting happened in the same cycle, and I was not getting enough water in. I wasn't getting my minimum. So I made the leap. I bought a gallon-sized water bottle. My goal is not a gallon every day. My goal is 90 to 100 ounces is my goal. And by just having this filled all the way to the top, this sits on my desk so that I really never run dry of water. And that's where I found my snag was running dry of water. And that I wasn't filling it up because things were popping in my way. This got rid of me not having water and things popping in my way. This has all the ounces that I need in my day. So as long as I keep this with me, I'm hitting my water goal. It's been about a week. It's been about 8 days since I got it. And I've hit my water goal every single day, including the weekends, because it is with me and I don't have to focus on filling it up. So with that being the case, when we start talking about your micro goals, I want you to think about maybe you need a specific tool or a specific piece of equipment. This is a tool / equipment that I use to help make sure I get my water in. Maybe it's scheduling something. Maybe it's having the accountability partner. We're going to be talking about the implementation of these micro habits. So thinking through, what do you need to make sure that that happens? So the point of micro habits: small, daily, consistent, realistic, and honestly, they should take very small time out of your day. Often we are all very busy. We have so much to do. We have so many things going on that we just can't do it. If you start really, really small with something that takes 5 minutes or less every single day, you're going to realize you have time, and that number can just keep going up. The longer you implement, the longer you stay consistent with it. Do we have any questions on micro habits, on whether you've used them or not? I'm checking the comments over here to make sure I'm not missing anything. Awesome. So yes, as you guys think of questions, drop them in there. Let me know what types, where you're struggling, where you've tried this before, where you haven't. Anything you're thinking of, drop it in the comments and I'm going to be watching it. So we're going to get into our activity or our exercise. And this is something that we work through, that I'm working through individually with anyone who's part of the Commit to Your Health program. And with that being the case, I'm going to give you just a little bit of the outline. We're going to go through the whole exercise, but really it's just a little glimpse of what the program looks like. And I'll be talking about that more at the end, once you get through it and you kind of understand what we're going to be doing. So the first question I have for you is, I want you to grab a sheet of paper and I want you to write out, what are some goals or things that you've been trying to work on and just haven't been successful with in the past, and you want to actually be successful at it. And I'm going to give some examples, and I want this list to be long. Let this list be as long as it needs to be. So things that I hear often is my water goal. I'm not even hitting my minimum. My sleep is awful. I need to create a bedtime routine. I need to create a morning routine. I need to get more sleep. Steps. I'm not moving throughout my day. I need to increase my steps. I need to increase my standing hours or standing minutes for those of you who have Apple Watches. I know that reminds you. Activity minutes. Maybe you have a goal that each week you wanted to be active 100 minutes, and right now you're not hitting that. We can implement things daily that help get you to that goal. Maybe it's taking your vitamins every single day. Maybe it's getting a certain amount of strength training in your week, or stretching in daily, or meditation, or flossing. Think about some things for your health that you've really wanted to implement and you feel like you kind of get going for a little bit and then you just kind of fall off. And then you have to start over and then you fall off. And it's that constant cycle. Things that are not second nature to you right now to do. Be honest with yourself. If water is not second nature, if you are not consistently hitting a minimum amount of ounces a day, it's not something that's second nature. As you're still creating your list, and the only way you're going to know if something is second nature or not is you got to track it. We got to look at the data. How many ounces are you getting? We got to see where you're at to know where we want to go and where we have to start. So we can't just pull a number, no matter what it's for, and out of the air and say, this is what we're going to do. We need to see, what are we actually doing, and create that habit or that goal based on where we currently are and what we are currently doing. So I'm going to run through this as if this is mine. So what are the goals or things you've been working on for some time that you just can't seem to become, that just cannot seem to be second nature? Some of the things that used to be on my list, and I still put on there, are water, sleep, steps, activity minutes, same things I just listed to you guys. So the next step of this is to look at that really long list that you just wrote down, and I want you to pick one. So in the comments, I want you to put what are a few things that you put on your list so that others can see some ideas other than what I've talked about. I want you to put some of the things that you put on your list in the comments below. The next step is going to be to look at that list, grab a colored pen, grab a highlighter, do something, and I want you to circle, star, highlight, color it, the one thing on that list that we are going to focus on. The one. Yes, just one. So I taught this training yesterday, actually, in a different group. Not the exact same thing, but the same concept. And one of the people in the group said me. So me are my initials, but they said, make it easy. And I thought, perfect. That is exactly what we were doing here in creating your micro habits. We're making it easy. We're not overcomplicating. We're not putting too many steps in. We're keeping it simple. We're making it easy by choosing one and one only. So now that you've chosen your one, you've circled, you starred, you highlighted, you did whatever you need to do, throw that in the comments. Let me know what it is. I'm going to use, for the purpose of this exercise, I'm going to use nutrition because it's very broad. So the one thing that I'm going to focus on is nutrition. Well, how can I focus on my nutrition every single day? A lot of us will say, oh, I'm going to make sure I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm going to make sure all of my meals are balanced. I'm going to make sure to meal prep so I have all my stuff. Those are not bad goals. Those are great goals. But when we're talking about a micro habit, we want to break it down even more than just, I'm going to have balanced meals. We need to break it down really small and make it really specific. So yesterday when I ran this exercise, one of the women in the group said she's going to set an alarm at 11 a.m. to have her lunch every single day. She was noticing she wasn't eating lunch, which in turn was leading to binge eating at the end of the night. So she's setting her alarm for 11 a.m. every single day to eat lunch, and that's going to be her lunchtime to help fuel her body and give her body energy. When I think of nutrition, I think of, okay, what am I doing? What part of my nutrition do I actually want to work on? For practice purposes, I'm going to say I want to work on how many vegetables I eat in a day. So my micro habit is going to be, I'm going to have one serving of vegetables every single day. So I've taken that broad area of nutrition, I've broke it down into something specific in my nutrition that I want to focus on, the amount of vegetables I eat. And I broke it down even more into, I'm going to start with one serving of vegetables per day. And as soon as I get consistent with one serving, I usually tell people you got to do it for at least a week, usually a week to 14 days. From there, if you want to increase a little bit, you can, or keep it exactly where it's at. So when we think about nutrition, I want to eat more vegetables. I'm going to have one serving of vegetables per day. So that is the habit I'm going to create. I'm going to have one serving of vegetables per day. I can say that all day long, but what is the implementation process behind it? And for me, that means making sure I always have vegetables at home, whether they're canned, frozen, or fresh. Have to always have vegetables on hand. If that is the habit I want to create, I need to make sure I have the vegetables. And the other thing is, I'm going to just put right out there that I'm going to have vegetables with every dinner meal. So instead of this whole up in the air, oh, I'll get them in at some point in the day, and then all of a sudden it's 9 o'clock and we're realizing I'm going to bed and I haven't had vegetables, I'm choosing a meal that I'm going to have it with every single time, every single day. So I got even more specific. And then once I get consistent with that dinner and I want to add more vegetables, I'll then choose lunch. I'm going to add a vegetable to all of my lunches. And after that 7 to 14 days, if you want to add another, you can. But we cannot start stacking things until we've really created the foundation of eating one serving of vegetables per day and doing that consistently every single day. Because as soon as we don't do it one day, You kind of got to start back at zero. You got to start back at zero in day one. So the more we deep dive into that big goal, you're going to get more specific and more specific. And then we're going to get that really clear goal of 1 serving of vegetables per day. And then we're going to look at the implementation process. Another example is water. So I want to increase my water. That is my goal. Great. That's an awesome goal, increasing your water. First, we have to look at how much water are you drinking? If you're not sure, track it. If you are sure, look back. What's your average minimum? Well, it's 50 ounces. Awesome. Let's start with 50 ounces every single day. Make that consistent. Consistently 50 ounces every single day. How's that going to happen? How are we going to implement that? Because like I said, we can say we're going to do 50 ounces, but if we don't put an implementation process in it, it's not actually going to happen. Well, I have a 64-ounce water bottle, so I'm just going to fill that up and make sure I drink most of that in a day. That's one way to do it. I would make sure you have the ounces, or you try to get specific so you actually make sure you're hitting that 50. But think about, is it a certain water bottle? Is it setting timers on your phone to go off every hour? Okay, drink some water, drink some water, drink some water. Is it checking in with someone at the end of the day? Hey, how's your water been today? Is it having that accountability partner? Is it putting it on your calendar at each meal? What is that implementation that's actually going to make sure that you've done it, that you've looked back the next morning and said, I drank that 50 ounces or I didn't? So what questions do we have from what our goal is, breaking it down, and then the implementation process? And if this is something that you want to work through one-on-one with me, if you're like, oh, I really like this exercise, I couldn't be on live, I'm watching the replay, I want to do this one-on-one, just drop habit in the comments and we will work through this one-on-one. We'll take that big goal and we'll break it down. Because sometimes all it takes is someone asking the right questions to get that goal really, really small and attainable, maintainable, sustainable, and consistent for you. So as we've gone through this exercise, this is just a really, really small glimpse of the Commit to Your Health program. In that program, we commit to one thing. We commit to one thing that you are going to track every single day. And every single day, I'm going to check in with you. I'm going to shoot you a text message, just like I'm doing with Elena. Okay, how'd you do yesterday? How'd you do with your water? How many ounces did you get? Okay, how are you going to do better today? Or great, keep up the good work because you did it yesterday. So as we're thinking through that, if you have any interest in the Commit to Your Health program and implementing this habit, anyone who is interested, drop commit in the comments. And if you choose to sign up now, we're actually going to get you started now rather than waiting till when the program starts. The awesome part is the program's 42 days. 42 days, it's right through the holidays. So it's that perfect time when we put ourselves usually on the back burner, but we're going to put ourselves up front by putting one thing for ourselves and our health first this holiday season. So if you want to set the foundation, if you want to start creating that habit now, today, then drop commit in the comments and I'll reach out to you and talk to you about the details. So I want to know insights, takeaways, and I want you to drop again, what is that one specific habit that you are going to be implementing? One. Very small, very specific, and how are you going to implement it? Awesome. Okay, so next week, I will see you guys all same time, same place, noon on Thursday, and be on the lookout for me to reach out to you. If you dropped the word commit, check your messages. I will be sending you a message so that we can have that conversation. We can get you started on creating that habit now rather than waiting till the first of the year. I'll see you all next time. Have a great rest of your day.